Tally ho and good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kyle here once again. So in this video, I'd like to expand upon a topic I've touched upon in the past a little bit here and there, mainly to do with economics. So adequate timing considering what's going on now and yesterday in the US. A couple of banks have collapsed, bank runs, things that some of us have talked about for decades, and now they're finally starting to show themselves. Yay, but also Yay, because there's a reason. There's a reason for all this, and it's purposeful. And this is why I want to get into the idea of the social organism. And if we really understand this concept, we can actually rebuild the society so much more efficiently. Right? I see this world, this holographic representation of conscious experience for the sake of education, knowledge, experience. Well, our society is nothing more, but it's a big thing, but it is nothing more than a social organism, right? Again, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything's a fractal of itself, right? A hologram, the smallest bit of a hologram contains the entirety of the hologram within itself. It's a holographic reality, holographic universe. So, our planet, our world is an organism, right? And us human beings, are cells upon this organism of the earth. Now we come together, us cells come together and construct towns, cities, organs, one could say, right? Because a city, now again, there's more efficient ways, and I have a document I've been working on called The Greatest Reset, and it outlines the different aspects of how to go about this actually. And in this video, I don't want to bore you with all these small, minute details, and just try to have an overarching understanding of it, hopefully. Just to try to paint this picture of our world as an organism. Now, it's a horribly inefficient one. Again, I keep saying that, but it is a horribly inefficient, diseased, parasite-ridden system. Hence, the world you see out there. And so for that, I just want to, because I don't want to get into all the aspects of the social organism, but that currencies, right? Since there's economic issues going on within the United States, that seems the most pertinent to discuss. And I see currencies as just a unit of measurement of energetic exchange, or the means of distribution of resources. So, right, back in the old days, at the first currencies, right, you would do a service for somebody or provide somebody with your bananas that you grew, and they were a onion farmer, so they paid you in onions because that's all we had. We didn't have a transformative or malleable currency. We just had what we had. And then it evolved, right? Then we came together and decided upon nuts or cacao beans or some kind of seed, and that was a currency of a community. And we would change that because that was, okay, I have these nuts, everybody needs these nuts. Or it's just some tool to use as a measurement of energetic exchange to purchase new resources for me, as a cell, to continue my processes, right? Obviously, it's evolved into what it has now today, which many might see it as paper, but is more digital than it is paper anymore. But right now we're in a influx point of where both are kind of intermingling amongst themselves, but we are moving into a digital age. But the same idea still holds true. It is a unit of measurement of an energetic exchange so that we can have something of value in which to purchase or take in resources for us to continue our tasks that we're here to do. Right? Now, every cell within the human body has a purpose of some kind. Now, what happens if a specific cell or a specific organ or group of cells does not have the resources to continue functioning efficiently, adequately? What happens? Right? You have disease. In the world example of the social organism, you have poverty, disease, which is a thing within certain countries that don't have the resources, right, to properly tend to the cells within that organ of a country. There's no such things as countries in the future. Countries are an artificial construct to imprison specific cells within an area. Everyone should be allowed to have free reign over this planet and join. So, right, currency as pretty much blood within the social organism, right? Its purpose is to be distributed throughout the organism so that all cells within the organism can have the proper resources to function properly for the greater good of the organism, right? That makes sense. Biologically, that makes sense. If your arm goes to sleep, or you tie a band on and your blood's not going to your arm, what happens? it starts to hurt, it goes numb, leave it on there longer, what happens? Your cells start to die, you start having problems. And thus, in the real world, we see that as poverty, disease, sickness, things within third world countries where they don't have the adequate resources because other organs within the social organism are vampiring or absorbing all the resources of these other organs, right? There's competition. And think about it within your own biological vessel. If your liver and its group of liver cells are competing against your heart and your heart cells, what's going to happen? Right? If there's competition, what's going to happen? One of them is going to lose out. But you need both of them to function properly, don't you? Right? Us as a world, human cellular structure within the greater planetary organism that we call Earth, all cells need to have adequate resources to function properly. And more analogies to take into it is that, yes, there's like the siphoning off, right, from third world countries to first world countries due to competition. They have the weapons, they have the power, they can do these things, and so they have done these things. And so we have an abundance in one area and a diminishing of abundance in another area. And so we have inequality within the system, and we have systemic failure. Also, though, within these organs are parasites. Right? What is a parasite? Just like if you get a parasite on your body, it takes in your blood. It can also pass disease through its bites. But it's stealing. It's usually more parasites are inside your gut and stuff, right? It is absorbing your nutrients, your energy. It is taking energy from your system. It is pulling blood out of distribution of the organism, you, and for itself, right? You are its host, and it is leeching off of you. It is a parasite that is leeching. And much the same way, as above so below, as within so without, we have parasites or leeches within our social organism, right? The pooling of resources to specific areas, having an overabundance in one area and a lacking of abundance in another area, creating disease and dysfunction. Thus, we need a parasite cleanse, right? There is no need for individuals or groups of individuals to have 15 houses, 30 cars, all these different things. It makes no sense. One person cannot live in 15 houses. It doesn't make sense, especially when you have an overabundance of homeless. Now, again, this is a very simplistic way of looking at it because there's many other inefficiencies throughout the social organism that cause these systemic problems, such as homelessness and poverty and disease. There's many different things. Ask questions because, like I said earlier, there's so many different pieces to this puzzle that it becomes hard and confusing to try to talk about everything. Hopefully this rant wasn't too ranty and you got something out of it. Like I said, comment a question to help guide me in my rants, and I would love to share more and just kind of make videos as these come up. I do want to talk about the social organism because, again, the two things that I find of the most importance is understanding the mental implication upon reality, and that it's all holographic, and that based off of the information received, and the beliefs we have, there's an influence on the construct of the reality we find ourselves in. So as we as a collective understand this, we can actually create a better world. But on top of that, how, right? So that's the whole also restructuring our belief system, so understand that we are but cells within a greater social organism, and that our duty is to make it as most energy efficient as we can, to have the equal distribution of resources so that all cells can do what is necessary for the greater functioning of the organism as a whole, right? So they're very much intertwined, and they're both important to understand if we want to take advantage of the current happenings within the world, of the collapse of the old system, so that we can usher in a new system, learning the lessons of the past so we can actually make a halfway decent planet. If you enjoyed that, like, subscribe, do all these things. If you made it this far, fantastic. Most people don't. So, yay on you. All right, until next time.